So the Browns have the week off. They'll be getting ready for the 49ers a week from Sunday. 49ers have the Cowboys Sunday night. So it's back-to-back pretty tough tasks for the 49ers. Take us through some of the things, and I know you've written an article about it for cleveland.com. Some of the things about the 49ers that we need to be aware of and know.
Yeah, so I did 3 things to know about the 49ers, heading into week 6. The first thing number 1 is there's just star power all over the roster wherever you look at it. Basically, every position you look at for the 49ers, they have a star. Christian McCaffrey at running back. I mean, he's had a sensational start to the season, looking like, probably the best running back in football right now, just because of how impactful he is. Then on that also on offense, Deebo Samuel, the ultimate Swiss Army knife at receiver. Brandon Ayuk last season at 1,000 yards. You've got one of the best tight ends in football in George Kittle. And Trent Williams at left tackle, certainly has Hall of Fame potential. Defensively, Nick Bosa won Defensive Player of the Year last year. They go and add Javon Hargrave, who was a stud for the Eagles last season. Linebacker, you got Fred Warner. And at safety, you have Talanoa Hufanga. Both of those guys were all pros last season. So just studs up and down the roster. And number two, I thought this was very interesting. This is going to be Kyle Shanahan's first game in Cleveland Browns Stadium since his last game as offensive coordinator of the Browns in 2014. That's kind of an interesting fact. I would have assumed by now, because it's been almost a decade, he would have been back in Cleveland, but hadn't been the case. He was the offensive coordinator. It went to Atlanta right after that. And then obviously he took the head coaching job in San Francisco. I think it was 2017. Played the Browns once in 2019. We all know how that one is when it was a 31-3 blowout on Monday Night Football. But, for Kyle Shanahan, again, this would be his first time in almost a decade he has stepped into Cleveland Browns Stadium. So it's kind of interesting. It's just kind of a fun fact more than anything. And number 3, I think people should underestimate Brock Purdy at your own risk. And I do my quarterback power rankings. I feel like I like him a lot more than a lot of other people do. I mean, when you look at what Brock Purdy does, is he the best quarterback in the NFL? No, he's not. But I mean, he's undefeated as a starting quarterback in the regular season. The only game he ever lost was in that NFC Championship game when he had that elbow injury. I think it was in the first quarter of the game, and he literally couldn't throw a football more than 5 yards, and obviously had to. There were questions whether or not he was going to be right for the season, but Purdy is 9-0 in the regular season as a starting quarterback. He had 1 incompletion last week against the Cardinals, threw for almost 283 yards. Yeah, he's got amazing skill players. He plays for one of the best offensive minds in the NFL right now in Kyle Shanahan, but he still had to perform. And right now, Brock Purdy's performing. Played well against the Steelers in week 1, and you cannot underestimate just what he has. I think he's better than people realize. And I think, he's got a chance to really show it. Because, 9-0 is the start of the regular season. You're not undefeated as a starting quarterback in the regular season in the NFL unless you're really, really good.